Hello friends. So I wanted to share a little video today in this beautiful garden that I am staying in at the moment. And I really felt I wanted to share while I was in nature, because this morning I took myself off on a walk to a place called Highdown Gardens, which is near Worthing in West Sussex. And I've been there many times before, but it's not far from where I'm staying, so I got there just as it opened at 10 a.m. And it wasn't a walk to get anywhere. It was one of those walks when you're just totally in the moment and immersed in the beauty of nature without trying to get anywhere, to just appreciate every leaf and every flower and every bird song and the surroundings. And it was one of those such walks today, and it was just such a beautiful reminder how nature is so giving, and so it doesn't ask us of anything. And as I walked around today, I was just in such awe of the beauty and the emerging flowers and blossom on the trees. Even saw a couple of beautiful nesting jays, and I was very close to them, and they were gathering for their nest. And I was just full of gratitude for this beauty. And what really touched me later when I got back home was it reminded me of those times when my life was completely and utterly shattered and falling apart. I was going through an awakening. I was going through the menopause and a divorce. And it was hell. And every day it felt like walking through treacle. And one of the things that supported me at that time, I had a dog at the time, so I had to take him out, Monty, every single day. And I was very grateful and thankful that where I lived there were some beautiful nature walks. And I remember day after week after month, when I'd go on these walks, I would just be sobbing. It was a place where I felt I could let go, where I wasn't judged, where nothing or nobody was trying to analyse me or fix me, or where I wasn't even trying to make sense of anything. I was just immersed in nature. And I think for many of us, nature is such a holding space, and why so many of us relish the simplicity of nature. And for that period of time, it felt like it was my only solace. I had friends and I had family, and they were very supportive. But nature, as I say, it just didn't want anything of me. It just was. And you can depend on nature. You can depend on the seasons. It just happens, doesn't it? All on its own. And that opportunity that I did every day almost to go walking, it got me deeper in touch with mindfulness. I started to really notice the simplicity of the sound of a bird or a flower, a leaf unfurling, a puddle reflecting the sky, the bark of a tree, touching it, feeling it. Some are rough, some are smooth, some are gnarled. So back then, mindfulness was very helpful for me. It really got me in touch with the present moment. And I remember the first time when I was lying in this beautiful bluebell wood, this ancient bluebell wood, and it's the same time of year here in the UK. And I went into this bluebell wood, and it was just carpeted as far as the eye could see with this just a wash of bluebells. The smell and the colour and the glory was just beyond words. And I went and found a place to lie in the middle of the woods. And I remember just letting the earth hold me, where I just could let go. I could just surrender to the earth. And I remember closing my eyes and extending the sounds around me, noticing the birds, the sound of a fly, car in a distance, or a dog barking in the distance, the crackle of some wood. And it was the first time I'd really given myself permission to completely immerse myself in that moment and expand all my senses. And I had so much gratitude because I felt whole in that moment. I felt presence, stillness. And yet I would then get back into the world, and it's almost like that was lost again. I was back in grief or pain or loss or trying to figure my life out. So again and again I would return to nature, and it would always be such a beautiful place of healing. But then there came a tipping point, and I think we all reach this, where, I remember at the time, if I could measure it on a line, for example, I'd have maybe like that much peace or joy or sanity, whatever you want to call it. And I could never imagine that my whole life would be like that, having joy and love and peace all the time. It felt impossible. But I often use this analogy with people I'm working with or in my workshops, because it's like little by little by little, little increments as we open our heart, as we unfold, as we do the work on the healing and let the tears go and release the anger and start to open up to the glory of God and the joy that we are. This tipping point will come. And I remember that point, it's like the scale started to tip in the other way, where I no longer completely always felt bereft. And so as it tipped the other way, so more and more of this joy and love and acceptance would come in. And it would build and it would build. And this is over years, right? This isn't a quick fix. So this point where I was feeling more and more whole, more and more knowing who I was. And I would still have triggers and upsets. Yes, of course I did. But it was like they were becoming less and less and less. And I could remember then and tap back into the truth when I seemed to go through the next phase, the next stage of darkness. Or I'd always know that the light was on the other side. And that's what we call trust. It's what we call faith. And my goodness, don't we need that when we're going through the darkness? And now, for me, it's now that much of kind of grief or trauma or upset it's the other way, whereas the majority of my life is knowing the truth, is in presence, is in peace, is in gratitude, is in the grace of God. I'm not in control anymore. I've surrendered my life to this benevolent, all-encompassing love, which I can call God, or I could call universe, or creator, all that is, or higher power. And so I share this to remind you that wherever you are is as it's meant to be. Don't fight it. Surrender to it. Let the tears come. Let the rage come if it wants to come. You don't dump it on anybody, but you let it come out. Like I was doing when I was going on my walks in nature. And start to open up to the presence, the moment now. And that's what nature helps us to do. Nature doesn't fix us in that way. It just reminds us, it shows us, it mirrors back to us the simplicity of being. And I remember the first time I had such a profound experience of that. I was sitting in my garden and I was looking at the grass and I spotted this one droplet of water on a leaf of grass, and the sun was reflecting in it, and it was glistening, this droplet of water. And I was just in awe. And in that moment, I was the droplet of water. I was the blade of grass. I was the whole universe in that droplet. And it was the most profound, beautiful moment, showing me that that is available always, everywhere. But we have to slow down. We have to stop fighting, trying to achieve, get somewhere. It's exhausting. And so this reminder that nature shows us, right, it just is. It just is. And like the seeds and the flowers and the plants that have been under the ground over the winter here, in the darkness. And it has to emerge. Its natural instinct is to come to the light. It doesn't have to think about it. It doesn't have to plan it. It doesn't have to put a date in the diary. This is when I'm going to come out of the ground. It's instinctive. It's intuitive. And we have that in us too. We have intuition and instinct within us too. But we have to be present enough to feel it, to follow it. And then it emerges from the soil, doesn't it? Fresh and new, reaching to the light. And we can trust that. We can trust nature does that. We don't have to control it. It just does it. And it's the same with our higher power, with God. Trust it. It's helping you come into the light. It's calling you. Are you ready? Are you willing to just stop? And there's so much to appreciate when we do that. Like on my walk today, there were tears, but of joy, of deep gratitude, of wonder. So if this resonates in any way, if you find yourself in a dark place or emerging into the light, you can trust it, friends. You can trust the process. It's okay. Don't force, don't push. Don't think you're wrong. It's just something that's naturally happening. And it's called grace. And it's beautiful. So maybe for you today, you could just stop for a moment. You may not have the time to go in the garden or out for a walk. You may be working or busy parent. But you can stop for a moment. You can. You can when you sit down and have your cup of tea, or put the washing out, or have your lunch break. You can choose to be present. Go for a walk. Go to the park. Listen to the birds singing. And just be present with it. And to start with, the ego may tell you, well, this is a complete waste of time. You've got things to do. You've got things to get on with. Come on, girl. Come on, boy. Get on with it. Stop wasting your time. But I can assure you it is not a waste of time. It's the best thing you can do with time to help you be present. And it may take a while for you to start to slow down, because we're so used to this being all the time on survival, fight or flight, the whole damn time. And it's very common, isn't it? You hear when people have their week off or their 2 weeks holiday. It's the first time they've stopped in a very long time, and quite often they're sick or something happens because they've never stopped. They've never given themselves permission to just be. And so as we make these decisions to slow down and to be more present, if you have to book it in the diary to start with, to go for a walk at the weekend or to go and just sit somewhere in a park or on the beach. There is somewhere always you can find to do that if you choose to. And just open your mind and your heart to that. I think it's the Japanese tradition. It might be Chinese, I can't remember, but they call it forest bathing, don't they? Where you just go into a forest and you bathe in it. But as you sit in presence, they say to wait for like 20, 30 minutes and see what comes to you. See what arrives, a flower, a bird, a squirrel, a butterfly, sound of, something in the air. And we all know how healing and nourishing that is for our spirit and our soul. So if this is a little gentle reminder to help you to come back into presence and open your heart, feel gratitude, because whatever we feed will grow. So if you start to feed gratitude and appreciation for the small things around you, that will enhance your feeling of joy and peace. And that tipping point can happen. And I never ever imagined it could when I was in that dark place. That felt like just words to me. But I'm here to tell you that it can happen and it will happen. I promise you. And again, I see this with so many of my mighty companions that are on the spiritual journey and clients and people I've known for years. When they get that moment where the grace of God touches their heart, however that may be, you can see it in their face, and when they express it to you, you can feel that they've had a moment of grace. And okay, it may not last, that's okay. But just to know that it's possible, and then you can extend it to that tipping point happens. So that becomes the majority of your life. Now, if that's not worth following, I don't know what is. So maybe make that your goal today, to just open up to that possibility and get out there and feel the texture of the leaves and the bark of a tree, and smell the flowers and feel the sun on your skin. See a droplet of water on a leaf. The aroma melt into presence. So I celebrate you, I celebrate nature, I celebrate God, I celebrate all that is, to know that it's all happening for us to wake up to truth. And you are worthy, everyone is worthy of this. There's no exception. And we're not here to suffer. We're here to wake up, to walk each other home. Thank you for listening. Sending you lots and lots of love.